morning, Pioneers. My name is Connor Morrison.
And my name is Justice Cullivan. Welcome to The Grid. Our winter sports have either wrapped up or are deep in the postseason. Let's get started.
Gymnastics competed in districts at Worthington Kilbourne on Saturday to finish their season. The team placed fourth and will not be moving on to states. Jade Gerard qualified for all-around bars, vault, and floor for states. Now, let's throw it over to Lila, who is with Jade.
Thanks, guys. Jade, how did the team perform as a whole?
I think we definitely had our good and our bad of the season and of the meet. We didn't necessarily hit, but we got fourth, which I think was a lot better than we were expecting.
What has been your biggest challenge this season?
My biggest challenge has definitely been working with school and gymnastics with the long practices that I've had.
What are your hopes for states?
I'm hoping to place top 5 in all around.
What's your biggest competition you're anticipating at states?
My biggest competition will definitely be against the Olentangy girls and the Berlin girls, but I think I have a pretty good shot.
How do you feel about this being your last year in the program?
It's definitely sad because I'm a senior and I've been in the program since my sophomore year and I'm going to miss it, but I think I've done pretty good throughout the years.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lila. Girls Wrestling Regionals will be at home starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. with 13 of our Pioneers competing. The girls won the title and have 8 sectional champions: Kenzie Carter, Josie Nikoloff, Lexi Riley, Peyton Johnson, Soraya Mahmood, Lydia Henrique, Cassidy Garin, and Jenny Aracha Arianos. In addition, Audrey Metzler, Alania Smith, Eileen Kenan Beva, and Lucy Scheibeck all qualified spots.
On the boys' side, they move on to districts today and tomorrow at Hilliard Derby, with 6 of our boys competing, led by sectional champs Jacob Slack and Gavin Gaylor. Additionally, Zeller Lyon, Ben Tong, Josh Pascal, and Dom Lee all qualified for spots.
For both the girls and the boys, a wrestler must finish top 4 to advance to next week's state tournament.
Now, here's Noel with boys wrestling district qualifier Ben Tong.
Thanks, guys. Ben, how are you feeling about going into your postseason?
This year I'm feeling pretty good about it. Since the past 2 weeks I've been having some really high-level matches that are preparing me well for the postseason.
So you qualified as a freshman. How does it feel to be back at Derby for your senior season, and what's changed?
Well, yeah, I haven't been back since freshman year because the past 2 years haven't really gone my way. Nothing's really changed. I feel like my work ethic has increased though, and I've done everything this season that I can to qualify for state.
Do you plan on wrestling in college?
No, I do not.
Okay, how did your team do this year?
We did pretty well in duels and in tournaments. I think we placed around top 8 in all of our tournaments.
What was your biggest challenge this season?
I wouldn't say I had a big challenge this season, but definitely maintaining my weight and making sure I didn't overeat.
Thanks, Ben.
On Tuesday, boys bowling placed 14th on districts. The team bowled a 3-6-8-3 and unfortunately will not be heading to states. Congratulations on your season, team.
On Tuesday, boys basketball absolutely crushed Whetstone 79-17. They will host today to play Independence in their second postseason tournament game at 7 p.m. Make sure to show up and support. Now, here's Will Martin with a basketball regular season recap. Will?
Pioneers, let's take a closer look into the boys basketball season.
Carson Cutler, I'm a senior, and I play forward. My favorite highlights from this year were cutting down the nets and winning the OCC. It's taken away that it's okay to lose, just stay connected, and we just let it ultimately get us closer to each other. I'm kind of glad we lost just because it'll help us down the road and face adversity. Not really. I feel it's just a number at the end of the day. Almost all of us were on the team or around the team last year, so we know what it takes to get to that point. So we're feeling pretty good, confident. I don't know, just one game at a time.
All I got today, Pioneers. Back to the news desk.
On Saturday, competition cheer heads to Big Walnut for states, and gymnastics heads to Hilliard Bradley at 11 a.m. on Sunday. For gymnasts, Jay Gerard represents the team in floor, bars, and vaults.
Now here's KJ with a look into the girls lacrosse preseason.
Hey Pioneers, let's take a look at lacrosse's preseason.
We have open nets every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and during open nets we do a lot of running drills, so that's to help with our stamina, and we do a lot of other drills just to get ready for season. We have lifting on Mondays and Wednesdays too, so that helps too. I think we're going to do good. We've only been improving since my freshman year, so hopefully this is the best year.
I went to open nets and liftings, and I did wall ball on my own.
Yeah, I just do wall ball, and then I went to the liftings, and then I'm in season for wrestling right now.
I think it's going to be interesting, seeing as we have a lot of new girls who don't really know how to play lacrosse, so I think it's going to be a fun, interesting progress.
We definitely lost a lot of really good seniors, so I'm wondering how we're going to cover those positions, but we also still have a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, I think our first scrimmage against DeSales is going to be soul-crushing. I think I can prepare by really watching film and making sure that my stick skills are really good.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay updated about their season, and back to the desk.
Thanks, KJ. Now let's move into our weekly pick'ems.
So we got some great games coming up. Very excited. Great week of basketball for Ohio State. I will be going to the Ohio State women's basketball versus Iowa. I'm excited for it. So it's number 2 versus number 6. Obviously, we all, even if you don't watch a lot of women's basketball in college, we all know Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's an absolute dog. Best player I've ever seen in college basketball. Honestly, you could argue for either men's or women's. She's insane. She's averaging 35 a game. She's 17 points away from breaking Pete Maravich's record, which was set way back in the 70s. So I'm going to actually take Ohio State still. They beat them earlier in the season, and I think one player is not enough to beat the hive mind that Ohio State women's basketball is. They are elite. They have dominated the second half of the season. They are 25-3 this season, easily the second best team, and honestly probably the most hot team. In I think that we're going to be looking at a great team going into the March Madness for women's.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'm probably going to take Ohio State as well, just because they've already beat Iowa earlier in the season, and like you said, for Iowa, it's kind of a one-woman show with Caitlin Clark versus Ohio State plays in unison. They play as a group, and I think that's probably what's going to push them to be able to have a pretty good postseason run and beat Iowa this weekend.
And so then we also have a men's basketball game. And the men's basketball team is really disappointing me. They started off 14-3, were very good. They beat Alabama, which was a great victory. And they've just really fallen off a cliff after they just fired Chris Holtman. And the head coach is now the assistant coach. I don't know his exact name, but he was able to beat Purdue in his first basketball game. Purdue is the second best team in college basketball right now. It's really impressive. They're coming off of a win against Nebraska. And I think that the Ohio State has just looked much better. They've started to pick it back up. They've won 3 of their last 4. I'm going to take Ohio State basketball. I'm going to take Ohio State. Bruce Thornton is a great player. He's only a sophomore, so I'm so excited to see him later in his career. I'm taking Ohio State.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about OSU basketball. I know that they were doing super well. They only had maybe 1 or 2 losses at the beginning of the season, really fell off a cliff in the middle, and then now with the new head coach, they've kind of picked it back up again. I don't know anything about Michigan basketball either, so I'll just agree with you. I'll take Ohio State just because you can't really root for Michigan. So.
Exactly. And then going to stay on the Ohio State train, and we have a bunch of recruits coming in this next season. Okay, and these recruits have looked phenomenal. We have a bunch of transfers. That includes running back from Ole Miss, Twinshawn Junkins. Cannot wait to see him pounding the rock when it comes September. Then we got quarterback Will Howard from Kansas State. Can't wait to see him. And, of course, Julian Sand, future quarterback. Jeremiah Smith, number 1 player in the recruiting class. I'm so excited to see this new and improved Ohio State team. Hopefully, I will get to see my second national championship in my lifetime.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think that there's just so many star players that have transferred to OSU in the offseason. I think OSU went from having a very weak QB room with Kyle McCord and Devin Brown to having maybe one of the strongest in college football. Obviously, we've gained some other key players like Quinshon Judkins. I think him and Travion, it's going to be a wonderful 1-2 punch. So I'm really excited to see what they can do this offseason. And I think that also with some of the coaching changes, it'll be super interesting to see how OSU does this year.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
That's all we have for today, Pioneers. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm Connor Morrison.
And I'm Joseph Colvin. Make sure to support your Nears in action this week. See you next Friday, and have a sporty day.